Throughout history, humans have cut down trees to serve the needs of expansion, construction, and development. However, cutting down giant trees, whose size is beyond imagination, is not only a technical challenge, but also a story reflecting the conflict between development and nature conservation. That is why today we will tell 15 largest trees ever cut down, to explore the most impressive and sometimes controversial cases of cutting down giant trees around the world, from centuries-old cedars and redwoods in North America to ancient trees in Oceania and Europe. Each story is not only a journey to cut down a giant tree, but also a reminder of the value, history, and fragility of the green giants in the wild. Number 1 is the General Noble tree, a giant sequoia that is considered the largest tree ever cut down. With a base circumference of about 95 feet and a height of 300 feet, it was cut down in 1892, not for its timber but for display at the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. A 30-foot section of the trunk was displayed with a spiral staircase inside for visitors to explore. After the exhibition, the trunk continued to be displayed in Washington, D.C., and was even used as a warehouse before being removed in 1932. The tree's felling was controversial and helped raise awareness about the importance of preserving old-growth forests. Number 2 is the Crenell Creek giant, believed to be the largest tree ever to exist, for which there is photographic evidence. It is a giant sequoia estimated to be 17% larger than the General Sherman, the largest living tree. It was cut down in 1911 to supply lumber to a nearby mill at a time when the ecological and historical value of ancient trees was not appreciated. With its massive trunk far surpassing the human stature standing next to it, the felling of the Crenell Creek giant is considered one of the most regrettable losses in the history of forest exploitation. Its story today stands as a symbol of the cost of uncontrolled development and a reminder of the importance of conservation. Number 3 is the Welsh giant redwood, one of the few giant redwoods to have been successfully planted in Wales after being introduced from North America several centuries ago. Standing around 90 feet tall and planted in 1842 by a botanist, the tree has become an important historical and ecological landmark for the Swansea area. However, in 2018, the tree was illegally felled by a property company to make way for a building project, despite not having a permit. The action caused outrage in the local and national community, resulting in the company being fined around $500,000. The story of the Welsh giant redwood is a reminder of the consequences of disregarding environmental protection laws and natural heritage. Number 4 is cottonwoods are one of the largest hardwoods in North America, often reaching heights of over 100 feet. Despite their scenic and ecological value, they are frequently felled for their timber, especially those growing at the edges of forests. However, felling cottonwoods requires extreme care, as a tree falling in the wrong direction can cause serious damage to surrounding trees. To control the direction of fall, lumberjacks often use ropes, hydraulic jacks, and timber wedges to ensure absolute precision during felling. This method has been used for decades as a safety standard in forestry. Felling cottonwoods represents a balance between resource use and the responsibility to preserve the forest ecosystem. Number 5 is the mammoth tree, a giant redwood about 300 feet tall and over 1,200 years old, was cut down in 1853 for a bet to create a giant dining table. The felling process took 3 weeks, and parts of the tree were later displayed as entertainment artifacts, including a section containing a piano. The tree stump became a tourist attraction, used as a dance floor and a bowling alley. The event caused outrage, became a symbol of wasteful resources, and sparked the conservation movement in the United States. This is considered one of the clearest examples of people once underestimating the value of old trees. It was the strong reactions from the public after this event that gradually formed and tightened forest protection policies. Number 6 is the Douglas fir in Oregon, one of the largest evergreen trees in the world, growing to over 300 feet tall in coastal areas, although inland trees typically grow to around 150 feet. When trees grow too large, they can become a hazard to the surrounding area, so pruning and felling are done to protect the forest and the community. For example, in 2019, a 180-foot Douglas fir was carefully removed by the Southern Oregon Tree Service. The process began by creating a slope to control the direction of the tree's fall and then cutting the remaining trunk. After the tree fell, the trunk was hauled away from the area and processed for salvaged wood. Managing the forest in this way not only reduces risk, but also helps preserve many other trees in the area. Number 7 is the Prometheus tree in Nevada, the oldest known bristlecone pine. At around 5,000 years old, far older than any other tree on the planet. However, in the 1960s, a research student accidentally chopped down the tree while trying to take a sample of wood for analysis. This happened because his drill got stuck in the trunk, and instead of leaving it, he decided to cut down the entire tree to get the equipment. This event caused much controversy and regret, as the tree was healthy and continued to grow before it was cut down. The Prometheus tree has become a symbol of the importance of protecting ancient creatures, and a lesson in how scientific research must go hand in hand with conservation. Number 8 is the huge redwood in New Zealand, one of the giant conifers planted decades ago and becoming a symbol of the area due to its impressive size. In 2016, the tree began to show signs of instability due to a weakened root system, posing a potential danger of falling suddenly during a strong storm. To ensure the safety of residents and surrounding properties, experts carefully trimmed the tree section by section, using a crane to safely lower each section of wood. During this process, they discovered that the tree was rotten inside, increasing the urgency of removing the tree. This not only helps protect the residential area, but also demonstrates the safe and scientific way to handle large trees in an urban environment. Number 9 is the Lindsay Creek tree in California, considered the largest single-stemmed organism ever to have lived on Earth, reaching a height of about 390 feet and a trunk diameter of about 102 feet. The tree was once known to have a volume of up to 90,000 cubic feet, twice the size of the General Sherman tree, the largest tree in existence. Despite repeated attempts by lumberjacks to cut it down, the tree was too large to be cut down. Finally, in 1905, a severe storm uprooted the tree and caused it to fall. Timber workers quickly salvaged the massive timber, which weighed more than 7 million pounds. The Lindsay Creek tree is a testament to the majesty and power of nature, as well as the limitations of logging giant trees with the technology of the time. Number 10 is the giant cedar of Canada, one of the most common and largest trees in the Pacific Northwest, known for its ability to grow to enormous sizes due to the region's ideal climate. Some of these ancient trees have trunks that are over 15 feet in diameter and are hundreds of years old. When a giant cedar is old or in danger of falling and causing damage to surrounding trees, it must be carefully cut down to protect the forest ecosystem. The tree is not easy to cut down. Workers must create large trenches to saw and control the direction of the fall, and process the trunk into small pieces for transport. After the tree is removed, the area is cleared to plant new trees, helping to maintain the sustainable development of the forest. Number 11 is the big fir tree at a golf course, a great example of maintaining a green landscape in a recreational area while still ensuring the safety of players. When the 120-foot tall tree began to pose a hazard due to its size and location, experts were called in to handle it. Rather than dangerously cutting down the entire tree, they cut it down in sections of about 10 feet from top to bottom, starting by climbing up and cutting off the larger branches first. This method, while time-consuming, ensures maximum safety for workers and does not damage the golf course or surrounding areas. Once the tree is cut down, the wood can be collected and reused, helping to protect the environment. Number 12 is the giant redwood in California, one of the largest trees in the world, known for its height of over 350 feet and its age of hundreds of years. In the past, felling giant redwoods for timber was common, but today it is strictly limited due to the slow recovery process and the importance of conservation. One notable case was in 2002 when an old-growth redwood on private property lost its top in a storm and was brought in by a team of experts to safely remove it. They began by cutting a notch in the trunk to control the direction of the fall, and after 6 hours of work, the tree was taken down. The entire trunk was then cut into 20-foot sections, then broken down into smaller pieces for transport by helicopter, demonstrating the sophisticated combination of engineering and modern technology involved in removing giant trees. Number 13 is a large cedar on a private property that exemplifies the longevity and power of nature, with a trunk measuring over 5 feet in diameter and estimated to be hundreds of years old. When the owner needs to make changes to the landscape or build a new one, removing this tree becomes inevitable, especially when the tree has begun to show signs of root rot and the risk of spreading disease. The felling process is quick, taking only about 20 minutes using a McCulloch Super Pro 81 saw. The job begins with creating a cut to control the direction of the fall, then completes the main trunk cut, ensuring worker safety and minimizing impact on the surrounding property. Number 14 is a California sugar pine, the tallest of the native pines along the Pacific coast, often reaching heights of around 200 feet and growing much faster than other species. This 190.5-foot pine, located in Strawberry Valley, was only about 100 years old when the decision was made to cut it down for safety and forest management reasons. The tree's heavy weight and large size required a high level of skill to cut it down, starting with a trench to guide the tree down, then sawing the main trunk down, leaving only a small section in the center. Workers then use chisels and hammers to apply pressure to force the tree down in the right direction, a laborious task that required extreme precision to avoid serious injury. Finally, the mountain ash at Alfred Nicholas Gardens in Melbourne, Australia, is one of the largest and most beautiful trees in the famous botanical garden. When the tree began to die and show signs of shedding branches, posing a danger to visitors, a team of experts was called in to safely remove it. The process was done carefully and gradually, with the large, dense branches first removed and then the main trunk, to avoid damaging other valuable trees in the area. The wood from the tree was then processed by a sawmill into sawdust for use as walkways, both protecting the environment and preserving the lush green landscape of the garden.
Subscribe to TopList 24 hours to learn more and watch some of our other popular videos. Thank you very much.